Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Darnie. As you will see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today, where this is going to be quite a quick episode. Not that quick, okay? It's not going to be like 5 minutes. It's going to be probably a 20-minute episode of Animal Crossing today because going a bit late and my friends want to play a game with me. So I was like, alright, got to record Animal Crossing first. So it's going to be a 20-minute episode. It's going to be quite quick. I guess I should probably message them being like, hold on, I'm back. Alright, any minute Animal Crossing episode, let's go. Anyway, what was I going to say? I was meant to mute myself, but apparently the plugin's not working anymore, so, you got to hear my horrible cough. So good evening, everyone. Right now in Fawnhollow, it's 8:40 PM on Thursday, September 8th, 2022. I don't know why the Stream Deck isn't working, because I installed a plugin to make it work again, so I'm surprised it's not working. Let's see how it goes. Hold on. Stream Deck? I don't know why it's not working. Oh well. So much for that. I'll have to use the good old scroll lock to mute myself again. Anyway, I'm not really sure what I'm going to talk about, because at 20 minutes, we're still on the birthday arc, because that will never end. Oh, you know what we could talk about? Let's talk about Korean food, kind of. Well, for one, immediately you can't move away. Sorry, my thoughts are a bit rattled because I'm sort of just being like, I'm trying to do things quickly. I'm also playing my gacha games at the same time, which I probably shouldn't be doing on an Animal Crossing episode, but you're kind of used to it at this point. So on the birthday food, not birthday food arc, on the birthday arc in general, we went to a South Korean restaurant, a street food place, because I really love South Korean street food. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, but I love them. Okay. Compared to a lot of other food, I would say I love it, but on a grand scheme of things, would I love it? No, but it is certainly one of my favourite foods, or food types of South Korean food. I quite like it. I like buns, but I like tteokbokki. Most importantly, I like Korean fried chicken. And if you haven't had Korean fried chicken, it is significantly better than other fried chickens. Like KFC or like I don't know what other fried chickens there particularly are. Is it better than katsu? Maybe. I think I would certainly probably rate it in taste more than I'd rate katsu curry. Kind of, maybe like 7 times out of 10, I would say. But it's more like I don't know. I don't think it's a fair comparison to katsu curry, because it's not really the same thing. But anyway, we went to a Korean food place which had a lot of Korean food. Normally we go to a street food place, but the one that we planned to go to, which was in a convenient location, was shut down, and the other location was not open on Sundays. So we were just like, all right. I went researching and to find another Korean food place, and we went to this one. It was the first time trying it, and it had a lot more Korean food, because Korean food is a lot more than just it's street food. It's just like what we as a friend group tend to have most often of Korean fried chicken. But it was pretty good. I had Korean fried chicken. Me and one of my friends ordered a set which had like 2 types of Korean fried chicken, half and half. I can't remember what on earth that's called in Korean. There's like a special phrase that you can use where it was like dak something, and I don't really remember off the top of my head. That doesn't sound right. But me and my friend, we got like 2 different types of Korean fried chicken that we don't normally have, because in the other place we normally have what was it, soy garlic, and there's like a chili one, and there's like the plain one, like yangnyeom or whatever the default one is called. They're all fantastic flavors, by the way, and still like probably some of the best. I still think soy garlic is my favorite. But we had 2 different ones. One called padak, which is I don't remember what it exactly is, but it tastes kind of like slightly sour, and it's like sort of topped with a load of spring onions. And we had one. It was called honey mustard, but I'm pretty sure it's meant to be called like blinko. Oh, no, snow blinko, cheese or blinko. I can't remember what it's called. Where it's basically coated with like this cheese powder, because for whatever reason, and a lot of Korean food, there's a lot of like random cheese. Despite the fact that Korea is not really known for its cheese, you know, not like of course a lot of countries in Europe, cough, France, might be known for their cheese. But they'll have things like, they'll have like is it bibimbap or tteokbokki, where they'll like have just like American like sliced processed cheese melted in it for whatever reason. I don't really know, but sometimes they put it on noodles. I'm not an expert by the way in South Korean cuisine, so don't, you know, like hold it against me if that's not quite exactly right. But it's a thing where powdered cheese is, you know, not too uncommon. Like I remember, like, of course I went to South Korea with one of my friends, the same friend I actually shared like part of a meal with, and we went to like a fast food chain called Lotteria. And Lotteria, I'm not going to say it's like the equivalent of McDonald's because they have McDonald's in Korea, but I don't know, maybe it's like the equivalent of Five Guys. No, it's not as expensive as Five Guys, I'm going to be honest. But they had a very interesting thing where they had basically kind of the equivalent of like Salt and Shake chips, where you could order the chips in a certain flavour and it come plain, and then you get like a little flavour pack which you pour in, and then you like shake it up. And one of the flavours, I don't remember all the flavours. One of them was like some Cajun salt flavour, another one was like some, I think it was like called tropical something, but one of them was also like a very sort of powdered cheese flavour, which, you know, was certainly interesting. And actually it works quite well on the chips. How does it work well on the chicken? Kind of. It's sort of like a bit much, but also, you know, not, it's a bit overwhelming. It's not something I have loads of, and it'd be something where I would definitely order half and half of like the blinko chicken with like yang yum, something much more plainer to sort of like cleanse the palate a little bit. Otherwise it's a bit overwhelming unless you really, really love that sort of flavour, then by all means go for it. What was I going to say about it? I don't really remember. No, but the other thing was that this meal we had came with fried chicken, came with tteokbokki, came with like 3 bottles of beer, which probably suggests that you were meant to share the thing between 3 people instead of 2 people, because it was a lot of food, I'm going to be honest. But it also came with these chips, which were absolutely coated with the same cheese powder sort of coating that the chicken was, and it was overwhelming to say the least. It's like I've talked about cheesy chips before, you know. If you aren't at the age where you know gone to university or college or that sort of thing, cheesy chips tends to be a sort of staple after a night out of drinking. Drink responsibly, by the way. These are like not really the same as cheesy chips, because cheesy chips are kind of like melted cheddar on top of chips. This is like cheese powder, like tossed with the chips. And was it good? I'm gonna say, I think it would be good if I was like, if I was younger, I think I would have loved it. But at my age, you know, having it, I was like, this is just so overwhelmingly like a ridiculous amount of cheese powder on the cheese, and it's so like sort of overwhelming. But I also still finished the entire thing. Because to be fair, we were drinking quite a lot, you know, and it tastes like a very good sort of like while you're drunk sort of food, you know, sort of like pub food sort of style, and it seems like it'd be right up the alley. So if you like that sort of thing, you'll probably like this as well, I'll certainly say. But it was quite a lot, you know, it was unexpectedly like a lot more than I expected. But at the very least, it was very cool to be able to try new flavours of fried chicken, and more importantly, new flavours of soju. We had a blueberry soju, which was delicious, by the way. My word, blueberry soju is so nice. And we had a peach soju, which was okay. Like, it probably would have been good if we had it before the blueberry one, but the blueberry one was like so surprisingly good. Anyway, soju's really nice. I love soju. And some of my friends who like hadn't really had Korean food before, like had it, were like, this is dangerous. It's like so drinkable. You might not really understand that if you're really the age of drinking alcohol. I don't really know, like, it's a thing, because I mentioned this before, like the age demographics of people who watch my videos tend to be like bimodal, of like people who are quite young, like young teenagers or something, and also like mid adults, kind of. That's been, you know, vague, mid adults, but you know, adults is long term. Long term is a long age span. So yeah, we had that South Korean food. It wasn't as good as the usual street food place, but like afterwards, like as I said, we went to V&A, which would be like what we talk about tomorrow probably. But then like we also went just before dinner, because that was our lunch, and it was, my word, it was a big lunch. We were there for like 2 hours or something. So But just afterwards, we went to another Korean street food stall, but it was one that you'll probably, if you go on Instagram a lot, you've probably seen it, where they sell Korean hot dogs. I don't know why, sorry, not Korean hot dogs, Korean corn dogs. I don't know why Korean corn dogs are necessarily such a big thing, well, in Korea, but it's quite a popular street food where basically, well, it's just a corn dog, I'm going to be honest, but I think they put like sugar on it or something. Like, I haven't actually had a corn dog before I tried a bit of one. I didn't have a whole one because I was so full, but still. So I don't really have a lot to compare it to, but it was quite nice. I would just say it would be a bit overwhelming. It certainly doesn't feel very healthy when you eat it. You're like, you eat it and you take a bite of it and you're like, this is this is calorie inducing, certainly. But it's interesting to see all the different sort of like styles of Korean corn dog there were. Like, you had the basic one, you had one which basically had like a potato covering on the outside, which is just an ungodly amount of starch. Sorry, not starch. Well, I mean starch, but also carbohydrates. There's also one where it was like half stuffed with mozzarella, as well as like the actual hot dog itself. The hot dog sausage itself, it was called like a half and half, and I don't know, half and half seems to be like a very popular naming convention in South Korean street food. And there's some other ones, I can't really remember off the top of my head. One of them literally was just like a potato, I think. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, certainly nowadays, these sort of things are a lot more popular because of whatever that channel is called, where they like give the schoolboys like some like Korean food. I don't remember what it's called, but you can look it up. You'll be like, British high schoolers try Korean fried chicken for the first time, which is well, basically, before I talked to my friend, one of my friends like really likes their videos and told me to watch more of them, so I did. But before, you know, I talked to my friend about that, I only saw that one, and the Korean fried chicken one is pretty good, which is why I sort of know some of the like Korean flavors. I'd be like, oh, we didn't try those. Yeah, because I'm not going to say it's gotten more popular because of that video, but I'm going to say it's probably gotten more popular in Britain because of that video, at least. You know, obviously for someone who lives in London, who lives around the centre, sort of like trendy areas like Soho or whatever, you're probably up on the Times and you probably, you know, had Korean street food all the time. But certainly it's sort of propagating out to like a wider audience. I would imagine. Because I believe those British schoolboys are someone like, I can't remember, like Portsmouth. Maybe it's not Portsmouth. Like, anyway, it's not London. Well, maybe it is, but still. Yeah, that's also when I saw like they had like Korean hot dogs just being so insanely popular, which is wild because, you know, I have been to South Korea. I never even heard of like Korean hot dogs being a popular thing, so, you know, I didn't have one. I think the closest I had to one was like, might have had like a hot dog in Japan or something, but that's obviously not the same country, not the same thing. But there's a lot of Korean street food which I did have, especially while I was in South Korea. Like, I did, of course, have Korean fried chicken. We went to this place and we ordered like 2 different types of Korean fried chicken, but we didn't realise that the platters were so big. The platters were basically like sharing platters, which you were meant to share between like 2 or 3 people. So and there was just 2 of us. And it was just like, oh my God, we just ordered like 4 people's worth of food. We ate so much of it. Like, we left over like 5 wings or something in the end. It was ridiculous. I would not recommend it. I was so stuffed for the rest of the day, so don't do that. But still, I had a lot of our Korean food. We had bibimbap. That we ordered like a thing for 3 people, but it was only 2 of us, and it was like, I might as well order that too. We had Korean barbecue. That was okay. Yeah. I mean, that was okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It was not the best South Korean Korean barbecue I had, because I've had Korean barbecue before in other places, in China actually, which you might be like, that's a bit weird, but still. I had Korean street food. What's it called? Korean toast. It's obviously, I think it has a proper name, but I don't know what it is off the top of my head. But that was delicious, by the way. That should absolutely be much more common in UK, so, you know, I can have it, because I thought that was super tasty. I remember because I had like a bulgogi one or something. Bulgogi is actually really delicious. It's like, I basically, when it comes to meat, I'm not like, I don't super care about meat. Like, the only meat that I even like particularly often would be chicken. As I say, like fried chicken and that sort of thing, chicken katsu curry, namely being like one of my more favourite chicken meals. But yeah, I forgot what I was going to say about this. Oh shit, rocks apparently. Yeah, but bulgogi beef is like probably the only other meat which is not chicken where I'm just like, yes, this is actively delicious in my mind. You might be like, actively delicious. What does that even mean? But it's like, it was like actually tasty enough for me to be like, yeah, absolutely, I would eat that again. And not just eat that again, because I would eat a lot of things again, but like actively choose to have it again. Be like, you know, go to a restaurant and actively seek it out or something. Because bulgogi is very, very delicious. I don't even know what it is, particularly apart from, you know, beef. Maybe slow cooked. Who on earth is our crafter today? I feel like we've gone into everyone's house and there's none of them. It's supremely tasty. Yeah, so yeah, I think I had that in my actual toast itself, and I had like cheese and other things. I still remember that Korean street food place because it was like this tiny hole in, not that tiny hole in wall, but it was basically the equivalent of a food truck, I would say. And then like we went there and like I ordered 2 things. You know, I obviously don't speak any South Korean, so it was, you know, a bit not awkward for me, but you know, people are like quite accommodating. And when it like came time to pay, and I was like trying to pay him, and like they were like not taking my bill. And they kept trying to say something, like kept like not understanding. I kept thinking like, do they think this bill's too big? Like, do they not have change to break it up or something? Until like the woman I remember who was doing it, she just like reached over into like the money I was holding and like took out the correct bills. And it was because I didn't realize I was handing her the wrong bill. It was like I needed to pay like £20 or something. I kept like trying to hand her like a £5, and when I looked at it, I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry." But anyway, it was good laugh. They took it in great fun. They obviously knew we were tourists and whatever, and we were just like, you know, I like to think we were being nice, you know. I like to think I'm a nice tourist, but I'm sure there are times where people have been like, oh, you know, blast these tourists, or whatever, when they've seen me because, you know, I was doing something like I didn't know where to go, you know. I mean, people can be quite judgmental. I mean, like, if you ever ride on a London Underground, if you don't even know where you're going, you just, like, stop for a second to be like, I don't even know which direction I'm meant to go, and people are just going to be like, get out of the way. I'm sure it happens in a lot of places, and to a certain extent it's understandable, because it's like, you know, those people have got places to be, but it's also like, you know, tourists, you know, there's... If anything, it's a failing, I suppose, of the design of the actual system itself, where if they can't freely navigate exactly where they're going. Oh, we already found a crafter. It was Vivian, wasn't it? I forgot. But yeah, that was not really the point. Korean street food, very nice. The Korean powdered chips, okay. I would say a bit much. If you see them on the menu, I would say, depending on how much you like fried food, I would say possibly order it, possibly you don't. I know that's a bit vague and is not like particularly helpful when it comes to actually making a decision whether you should actually order a piece of food or not. But Korean fried chicken, definitely great. Blueberry soju, fantastic. There was still a lot of Korean foods I still need to try, but it's basically just every time I figured, since we've only got like a couple of minutes left, I might as well try and find a money rock. Since every time I go to a Korean place, I'm just like, I kind of want Korean fried chicken, I'm not gonna lie. And then like on rare occasion I don't, I'll be like, oh, I don't know, bibimbap. It's kind of hard pressed for me to try anything else like budae-jjigae. I don't really know what other like notable South Korean foods there are. There's definitely a lot of them though, don't get me wrong, you know, South Korea's got a lot of nice food, and at some point I'll certainly try them all. It's just at the moment Korean fried chicken is so overwhelmingly like what I not what I like. It's just sort of like I mean, it is what I like, but lucky for you, that's what but I mean in the sense that it's kind of just like what I opt for most times when I'm actually just like going to get food. And if it just happens to be a South Korean place, it'll probably be Korean fried chicken. So, you know, what can you do about it? There's not really much you can do about it. Just like at some point, you know, actually, you know, broaden my horizons a little bit. I also quite like I don't mean to do Nook shopping. I meant to do the ABD. I also quite like tteokbokki quite a lot. At some point, I want to try cheese tteokbokki. I haven't even tried a kimbap yet as well. I know, but there's so much like good Korean food, and I just haven't tried it. But also, I'm not like in a rush or anything, you know. Well, I do think it's good, or that sort of thing. Like the food is good, and I'm also like, you know, not a foodie or anything. So if it takes me time to actually go try the food, then it takes me time to go try the food. But yeah, that's about it. I don't really have much else to say, so I think I'm going to just round up this episode here. It didn't even reach 20 minutes. Sometimes I'm going to have a short episode because I'm a bit pressed for time today. But yeah, anyway, if you haven't been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Any likes, comments, subscriptions, shares are greatly appreciated. Join me Dear Darling Discord, follow me on Twitter down below. Hope we see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now.